Again, a milestone. Second, PSX has responded positively to the emerging economic recovery, and the first quarter growth outcomes point to real GDP growing by 2.5%, because recently Pakistan Bureau of Statistics, in accordance with the IMF, published for the first time the quarterly figures of the economy. We shall be continuing this tradition, hopefully not only during our term, but subsequently. The structural reforms which, Prime Minister, you have steered at the SIFC forum with your leadership and also with our partners in development, are anchored on the operationalization of new state-owned enterprise policies. Some of them will be the candidates for privatization and offloading the shares. We don't have enough time to do all this work, but I can assure you, under your leadership, we shall sow the seeds and our footprints here. The FBR restructuring. Heaps of studies have been done on FBR. I said, forget about that. Let's implement the restructuring. You shall be seeing that steadily before we leave on how much we will take it forward. Capital market growth and diversification, very close to my heart. With SECP chair, we have submitted our plan for capital market transformation. We are addressing deep-rooted problems of energy sector, historic increase in gas prices, and we get abused by the press for that. But we have to make these difficult decisions. These are only some of the highlighting. I can assure you, we are working round the clock with the support of our leadership. Groundwork has been done for eventually launching in a bigger way the Sovereign Wealth Fund, whose legislation was left behind by the previous government. We macroeconomic and FX stability beyond our term, if we can manage. It has helped conclude the first ever peaceful review of the 3 billion staff level agreement, and we expect that to bring in 700 million alone, besides 1.5 billion of quick dispersing assistance, which will help strengthen our reserves at the central bank. The government's efforts include lifting restrictions on the trade and investment flows by removing bans on imports, allowing banks to settle LCs and profit repatriation of dividends for the multinational corporations, thanks to the Governor of Central Bank, with whom I have worked during my career. He and I are never fighting because we are from the same brotherhood and constituency. Both of us, along with my ministry and with the economic affairs, particularly the debt division of the Ministry of Finance, are working very hard to understand the debt profile of this country. I can assure you, we don't talk about it, but we are not amidst. You all write on it and you talk about it. We have started to reprofile the domestic debt, with investors moving to longer tenor instruments to drive reduction in the cost of borrowing for the government. 60% of our debt is domestic debt. So before we cry outside for help, we need to help our country with your support. None of these solutions are without the pain, but without pain, there is no gain. And countries that have gone through crisis have tightened their belts, have actually sacrificed for the future of the country. I speak from my 80 plus countries experience. My third point is that PSX has made substantial inroads in Islamic finance. It now constitutes around 67% of the market capitalization, and it trades with over half of the market cap companies in Islamic business. Growing role of Islamic equity and debt market backed by best practices of Sharia has been recognized, and PSX has won the Best Islamic Stock Exchange Award of the Global Islamic Finance Awards for the third consecutive year in 2023. With support of PSX membership, which means all the brokers, the banks, and all of you, the stock exchange has floated not only a host of Islamic indices, but there will be more indices to follow in this area. But few critical products are in the pipeline, including, thanks to our members, real estate investment trust funds, the cash-settled futures, derivatives and options, and we are exploring the Sharia-compliant trading mechanism and systems. All this tribute to our management to help us diversify the products, but most of all to my colleagues, the board members of Pakistan Stock Exchange. A lot of people tell me, why are you not outside the Pakistan Stock Exchange chairpersonship? I have the permission of the Prime Minister. Let me tell you this openly. It may be in the newspapers again tomorrow, but I am telling you that I don't do things in hiding. I do it with legal backing. Fourth, Mr. Prime Minister, my colleagues here have played an instrumental role in strengthening the governance of the stock exchange. The leadership from the chairperson of SECP, but I have in my bones and blood governance. Besides PSX acquiring the state of national trading surveillance system, which Farooq talked about, an overwhelming substantively regulatory and risk management framework, board has steered reforms of the joint inspection system with our subsidiaries. And we have a best world-class appellant system. We also have a very good investor protection system, which gives comfort to all of you. Fifth point, PSX is now in the league of sustainable stock exchanges. It is a member of the World Stock Exchange. It happened during my term. I'm really proud of that. Farooq, you made it possible. Pakistan Stock Exchange started background work and advisory services for promoting ESG across its market cap companies. With SECP guidelines on ESG's harmonization and standardization of ESG will be pursued. PSX will be on the forefront of sustainability awareness campaign and shall be issuing guidance through ESG primer. I have to tell you, environment, social, and governance safeguards are the principal discipline of all companies all over the world, and we have to adopt these. It is not CSR, please understand. These endeavors will play a critical role in attracting foreign institutional investors in Pakistan Stock Exchange and support our export-oriented industry in entering into markets whose clients and investors are focused on investing and buying ESG-compliant products. Sixth, more recently, to expand its investor base and allow for some depth and breadth in its debt market, the government has allowed PSX to float its government securities. I could not have done it without the SECP's support, but most of all for Prime Minister's confidence to allow me to take it to the cabinet and get it approved. And only yesterday, we submitted a summary and it has been approved this evening. Thank you, Prime Minister, for allowing that. Besides State Bank, now government debt can be issued from the capital market, so everybody can invest in the government's debt. We offer good returns because of the problems we have created as a government. So why not benefit people beyond the banking system? Drawing on the broader investor base, raising debt from market has multiple benefits. I don't have time to go into the technicalities of it. Trust me, it'll ease the pressure on banking system most of all, as government debt was crowding out private lending. Now, as we pick up the debt from the public, the banks can actually lend to private companies. The first issuance is going to be an innovative one-year discount sukuk structure aligned with conventional one-year T-bills. And I'm optimistic that not only Islamic banks, but conventional banks will subscribe to this issue. It is the first of its kind, but I can tell you it is going to grow more and more if nurtured effectively. Farooq, with a very deep sorrow heart, has agreed that the first issue would be done on a pro bono basis, free. He will not charge me on anything for floating this debt. So thank you, Farooq, for allowing that flexibility. Only last night we negotiated this between us. Let me conclude once again by thanking all of you. I have been in this city for 5 years since I returned from overseas. You have embraced me. You have given me respect. You have, recognizing that I was unemployed, kept me busy in Karachi city. I have learned from each of the corporates so much, formally and informally. So I owe you a lot. I have to say, I have talked positively about capital markets, but I know as a professional of capital market that we haven't even scratched the surface of capital market. It is only a very small proportion of the financial market asset. No country has grown without having 50% of the financial assets emanating from the capital markets. So please wake up and work harder to have your capital markets grow faster. No capital markets can grow without an effective financial market integration, and it is the responsibility of the central bank and the finance ministry to foster this integration between the banking and the capital markets together. No institution can work alone. It's really the teamwork that helps and rewards. Thank you, Mr. Prime Minister, for allowing me to share my thoughts.